Once upon a time, there lived a beautiful woman named Amanda. At 28, she had just got married to the love of her life, Chinedu, and was filled with dreams of starting a family together. Amanda had always been hardworking, known for her resilience and independence. She even quit her job to become a stay-at-home mom, believing it would give her more time to focus on building a warm and loving home. One day, after weeks of feeling unusually tired, Amanda decided to visit the hospital. And to her surprise, she discovered she was 4 months pregnant. Overjoyed, she couldn't wait to share the news with Chinedu, her husband. But to her dismay, Chinedu's reaction was far from what she had expected. Instead of offering support or excitement, he became distant and irritable. Soon, Chinedu began to criticize Amanda for the smallest thing, calling her lazy and dismissing her as if her pregnancy was sort of a burden. Amanda's pregnancy progressed. It became harder for her to manage the housework alone. Though she was a woman who took pride in doing everything by herself, the strain of her body was growing unbearable. One day, during a visit, Amanda's close friend suggested to hire a maid. At first, Amanda was hesitant. She had always managed in a fine way, and she was reluctant to let someone else into her home. But after much convincing and with Chinedu's constant demands weighing her down, she finally agreed. Amanda's friend recommended a village girl named CHIOMA, someone she trusted deeply. The next morning, CHIOMA arrived at Amanda's home. From the moment Amanda laid eyes on her, she felt a strange unease. There was something unsettling about CHIOMA's presence. Her gaze felt piercing and her demeanor cold, despite her polite words and obedient behavior. Chinedu also seemed uncomfortable around CHIOMA, though Amanda thought it was because he simply wanted her to do everything by herself. And in time, Amanda gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. The child had her mother's eyes, full of warmth and innocence. However, Amanda's joy was overshadowed by her own health. She had lost a significant amount of blood during her delivery and found herself too weak to care for her baby or manage the household. As Amanda struggled to recover, CHIOMA took everything. She cooked, she cleaned and cared for Amanda's baby, while Chinedu remained distant and cold. Amanda couldn't help but to feel that her husband was pulling further away, but she was too weak to confront him. Days turned into weeks, and though Amanda returned to the hospital for tests, nothing abnormal was found. Her physical conditions worsened, and she felt trapped in her old body. One day, exhausted from the hospital visit, Amanda returned home to find something that made her blood run cold. She pushed open the bedroom door, and there, on the bed that was meant for her and her husband, laid Chinedu and CHIOMA intertwined. Her heart pounded in her chest, and a deep sense of betrayal washed over as her newborn baby cried from the cot beside them. "Chinedu, what is this?" Amanda asked, her voice trembling with anger and disbelief. Chinedu grasped at her with contempt, not even bothered to cover himself. "What does it look like, Amanda?" He spat. "You've become useless. You can't take care of me. You can't take care of our house. CHIOMA has been doing everything in this house. What are you for?" Tears welled in Amanda's eyes as she looked at CHIOMA, who didn't even have the decency to look ashamed. "You are my friend's recommendation," Amanda whispered, breaking her voice. "How could you do this to me?" CHIOMA's smile twisted into a grin that sent chills down Amanda's spine. "Your friend may have sent me here, but I do what I want. And now, this house, your husband, is mine." Amanda's body shook with fury. I won't let you take my child, she said, moving towards the court. But Chinedu stood up, blocking her path. His eyes were filled with disdain, and he spoke the words that would crush Amanda's heart forever. You are no longer needed here, Amanda. Leave. Amanda's breath caught in her throat. What do you mean leave? This is my home, and this is my child. Chinedu raised her hand, signaling her to stop. Not anymore. CHIOMA will take care of everything. You are just a burden for now. Hopeless and heartbroken, Amanda stood frozen. She had nowhere to go, no strength to fight. After a moment, CHIOMA spoke again, her voice dripping with forced sympathy. You'll be fine, Amanda. We'll take care of her. Now, go. Amanda's world collapsed around her. With nothing left to say, she turned and walked out of the house. Her heart shattered, her child's cries echoing in her ears as the door closed behind her. With nowhere else to go, Amanda found herself at her friend's doorstep, the same friend who had unknowingly brought CHIOMA into her life. Upon hearing what had happened, her friend was devastated and immediately took her in. She offered Amanda a place to stay, her arms wrapped around her in comfort. Amanda, still broken but determined, vowed to regain her strength and fight for her child. Though she had lost everything in a moment, she refused to give up. After moving into her friend's house, Amanda tried her best to recover from the betrayal and heartache she had endured. But as days passed, the ache of missing her baby grew unbearable. She had no idea what kind of care CHIOMA was giving her child, and every day away from her daughter gouged at her soul. One afternoon, Amanda decided she could no longer stay away. She had to see her baby. With a deep breath, she made her way to her former home. As she approached the front door, she hesitated. She heard muffled voices inside. One of them sounded familiar, too familiar. Amanda pressed her ear against the door, straining to make out the conversation. Was that her friend's voice? She shook her head. No, it couldn't be, she thought. Her friend has been so supportive since everything happened. Why would she be at Amanda's home, talking to her husband and CHIOMA? Gathering her courage, she knocked at the door. But a brief pause, CHIOMA opened it, her expression quickly shifting from surprised to a forced smile. Amanda, what a surprise, she said, her tone unsteady. She blocked the doorway for a moment, but eventually stepped aside. Come in, come in. Amanda walked in slowly, her eyes scanning the room for any sign of her baby. She turned to CHIOMA. I want to see my child. Amanda said firmly, her voice betraying how much she had missed her daughter. CHIOMA hesitated, rubbing her hands nervously. She's asleep right now. You know how babies are. It is better not to wake them. I don't care if she's asleep. I want to see her. Amanda interrupted, her eyes narrowing with suspicion. CHIOMA stiffed, but finally nodded. Fine, follow me. Amanda followed CHIOMA to the nursery, and her heart pounding in her chest. When CHIOMA handed her the baby, Amanda's breath caught in her throat. Her daughter was smaller than she remembered, much smaller. Her baby looked frail, her skin pale, and her arms and legs thinner than they should have been for a 6-month-old. Amanda's maternal instincts kicked in, and she immediately tried to breastfeed. To her horror, the baby lunged on hungrily, drinking as though she hadn't eaten in days. Amanda's eyes filled with tears as she had held her baby close, rocking her gently. She's so light, Amanda whispered, her voice cracking. What have you been feeding her, CHIOMA? She's just fine, Amanda. Babies lose weight sometimes, you know. Don't worry so much, CHIOMA replied dismissively, quickly retreating into the kitchen. But Amanda couldn't shake the unease feeling. Something wasn't right. She locked down her baby and now peacefully asleep in her arms. A thought came to her suddenly. She had to get her child out of here. While CHIOMA burst herself into the kitchen, Amanda made her move. She wrapped her daughter in some towels she found nearby and tiptoed to the front door. As she quietly opened it, ready to escape, she came face to face with Chinedu, who had just returned from work. "What are you doing here?" Chinedu asked her suspiciously, his eyes narrowing. Amanda forced a smile, her heart racing. "I just wanted to get some fresh air. It's been so stuffy inside." Chinedu glanced at her, then at the baby in her arms. But before he could question her further, CHIOMA called from the kitchen. "Dinner is almost ready, Chinedu. Come in." Amanda sighed in relief as Chinedu walked past her into the house. After a brief exchange of goodbyes, she left, but only long enough to make it seem she was gone. Once she was sure they weren't paying attention, Amanda doubled back and slipped into the house through the back door. She crouched down, hiding in the shadows of the kitchen cabinet, waiting. Moments later, Amanda's heart nearly stopped as she saw everything she had feared. Her friend, yes, the same one who had taken her in, entered the house. She was holding a bundle of used sanitary towels. Into the kitchen she entered and started sucking the blood from them with a spoon before placing it into a small bowl. Amanda's stomach churned in horror, but what happened next turned her world upside down. Her friend walked over to the crib where Amanda's baby lay, and with the same calm, beginning feeding her baby the blood from the bowl. Amanda's mind raced, her breath quickening as she tried to process. What was she witnessing? How could this be real? Her friend, someone she had trusted with her heart and secrets, was feeding her baby blood. The baby, her beautiful innocent child, drank the blood greedily as if it was something she had become accustomed to. Amanda clasped her hand over her mouth, fighting the urge to scream. Her body trembled as the truth hit her with the force of a storm. Her friend had betrayed her, too worse than she even imagined. "This is my baby. That's why my baby is too weak. This is why she suffered." Tears welled in Amanda's eyes as she watched, feeling completely powerless. She knew that she had to act fast. She had to save her child, no matter the cost. Amanda's mind raced as she watched the horrific scene unfold before her. She had come too far, suffered too much, and now she knew the truth. There was no turning back. She had to get her child out of that house, and this time for good. But Amanda knew she was to be smart. Rushing out now would alert CHIOMA and her friend, and who knew what they were truly capable of. She needed a plan. Amanda's heart pounded as she carefully backed out of the kitchen cabinet and slipped unnoticed into the hallway. As she did, she overheard voices coming from the living room. Chinedu and her friend were deep in conversation. She crouched at the door, listening closely. What she heard nearly broke her heart all over again. "I did what you asked, Chinedu," her friend was saying, her voice sharp. "I've been feeding the child and keeping Amanda weak, but this can't go on forever. She's getting suspicious." Chinedu's voice was low, filled with malice. "She's not living with that child. You know why? We need her to stay. The rituals require the baby's blood and Amanda's as well." Amanda's stomach turned. She felt sick, her chest tight with the weight of betrayal. It wasn't just CHIOMA, it was Chinedu all along. He had never loved her. This was a plan from the beginning, a twisted, slick, sick plot to steal her child and use her as part of some dark ritual. Her pulse quickened as she realized the danger she and her baby were truly in. But then, as Amanda's world seemed to spiral out of control, unexpected thought cut through the panic. I am not weak anymore. She had spent months feeling powerless, but in this moment she understood her strength. She had survived so much already, and now she had a purpose to protect her child. She wiped her tears from her eyes and steadied her breath. This wasn't over, not yet. Taking a deep breath, Amanda tiptoed back to the nursery. She gently lifted her baby from the crib, wrapping her tightly with a blanket. The child stirred, but did not wake. Too weak to realize what was happening, Amanda's heart ached as she kissed her daughter's forehead. "I'm getting you out of here," she whispered. Just as she was about to leave, the door cracked open, and there stood CHIOMA, a dark smile spreading across her face. "Where do you think you're going, Amanda?" Amanda froze for a second, but her mind worked fast. She had no time to panic. "I'm taking my daughter," she said, her voice steady. "We are leaving." CHIOMA laughed darkly. "You think you can just walk out? After everything we've done, you are too late, Amanda. This child belongs to us now." But Amanda stepped forward, cuddling her daughter protectively. "She's my child, and I will fight for her." CHIOMA's eyes narrowed, but just as she reached for Amanda, there was a loud bang from the living room. Both women turned toward the sound, startled. The noise came again, this time louder, accompanied by shouts and footsteps. Before Amanda could react, the front door burst open, and to her shock, police officers stormed into the house. They moved swiftly, apprehending both Chinedu and Amanda and so-called friend. Amanda's head spun. "What's happening?" she whispered, clenching her baby tightly. One of the officers, a stern-looking man, approached her. "You are safe now," he said gently. "Your friend came to the station earlier today. She was worried something was wrong after you didn't return for hours. We've been watching this house ever since." Amanda blinked in disbelief. Her friend, the same woman she had overheard earlier, had gone to the police station. But then it hit her. Her friend has been acting all along, playing a part to gather enough evidence to take down Chinedu and CHIOMA. The betrayal had never been real. She had only pretended to be involved in order to protect Amanda and her child. With a sense of relief washing her down, Amanda looked down at the baby, who was still nestled peacefully in her arms. Tears of gratitude filled her eyes as she whispered, "We are safe. We are really safe." The officers led CHIOMA and Chinedu out of the house, both of them shouting and struggling as they were taken away. Amanda watched them go, knowing she would never have to live under their shadows again. Amanda fed her with love and care, and day by day, the child grew stronger, filling their home with joy. Once more, Amanda knew she had endured unimaginable pain, but as she held her daughter in her arms, she also knew that nothing could break the bond between a mother and her child. They lived happily ever after.